this caramel? Did I make caramel? I'm not sure what I made. Happy holidays, homemakers. I'm Melinda, and I'm cooking my way through Betty Crocker's 1971 recipe card library. And today we're making gifts from your kitchen. The recipe card library has a whole section called Gifts from Your Kitchen. And these are ideas that Betty Crocker has for things you can make at home to give away as gifts. There's a lot of jams, a lot of candies, some breads. But one recipe that caught my eye was from card number 1, Berlinerkranzer. And they're these little cookies. And she says, these little wreaths are a traditional Norwegian delicacy and look pretty packed with candied orange peel. Gifts from Your Kitchen, card 23. To nibble or use as a garnish on cakes or pies. And so I thought, well, if I'm gonna make the Berlinerkranzer, I might as well go to Gifts from Your Kitchen, card 23, and make the candied orange peel. And so this card is called Candied Dandies, and it has both a recipe for the candied orange peel and a recipe for toffee. So I figured, let's just make all three, right? And that way we could put all three of these little gifts into little cellophane baggies and give them away for the holidays. It's gonna be really cute, so let's get started. For the Berlinerkranzer, we will need some softened butter, shortening, sugar, grated orange peel, eggs, gold medal flour, obviously has to be gold medal, some egg whites, more sugar, and then red candied cherries and green candied citron to decorate. I couldn't find citron, but I did find these red and green quote unquote holiday fruits. I'm assuming that these are for fruitcake, but I think they'll do the job if we're just trying to like add a little decoration. And then for the toffee, we have pecans, brown sugar, butter, and semi-sweet chocolate pieces. And then finally for the candied orange peel, we obviously need the orange peel and some sugar. So let's get started. All right, so I figured we'd start with the candied orange peel because it definitely is gonna take the longest. It has to simmer for hours and hours. So let's get these peels off. First thing, it says score peel of 2 large oranges into quarters and remove peel. So I guess I'm just gonna, like they said, kind of cut this in like that into quarters. Okay. All right, one done. Let's see if I can peel it. Because you want it to come off in one big peel, right? That's the whole point. I wonder if I could, well, I'm doing it. But yeah, I'm wondering if it's easier if it's like I quartered the whole orange and then take the peel off the segments, but this seems to be working. We got one. Oh, it's so cute. It's a little flower petal. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, I wonder if I should just be quartering the orange. That seems to be the easiest thing to do. It's okay. I just have to be more gentle. There's no rush. Because the idea, I'm assuming, is that we're gonna cut these into long strips. And so this one is gonna be a shorter strip because of that. I have to be more careful. I usually don't eat oranges because they're really hard to peel. I much prefer like a mandarin or a clementine. All right, I have 8 orange peels. They're gonna go into this pot. And I'm gonna put 6 cups of water in the pot and let it come up to a boil and then simmer for 30 minutes. Time for toffee. So for the toffee, we needed a cup of pecans chopped. And I'm surprised she doesn't say finely chopped here because when you look at the photo, they are very finely chopped, even like minced, like very small little textural bits of pecan. So I took the like allegedly chopped pecans that are really just kind of like halves of pecans. And I tried to chop it as finely as I could. There's still some big chunks in there, but there's smaller chunks too. I feel like a tip I'd have is to actually do this in your food processor if you have one, just to get like a nice, even, finely chopped texture, but this is what I got. So we're working with what I got. So we're gonna take this 9x9 pan, and she says to butter the pan. So I'm gonna use, the recipe calls for a whole stick of butter, so I'm gonna use the butter to butter the pan, and then we'll use the rest of it in the recipe. Let's do this. Butter, 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 butter the pan. Then we're gonna sprinkle the pecans all along the bottom of the dish. Cover all the gaps. I hear you boiling over there, and you're supposed to be simmering. Now we have to heat sugar and butter to boiling, stirring constantly. All right, so we're gonna take the rest of the stick of butter, get that in a saucepan. And then this is 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. The brown sugar goes in as well. And then I'm just gonna pop this over on the heat and we'll get that boiling. I have to watch it constantly. Okay, so it's been boiling for about 7 minutes and it really took a few turns. At first, the butter and the sugar were staying very separate. It was hard to get them together, but now they're really mixed together and they've created a big puffy, gooey, goopy situation. And now, as soon as I take it off the heat, I'm gonna immediately pour it over the pecans while it's still piping hot. So let's do that. Here it goes. Oh, mama. Is this caramel? Did I make caramel? I'm not sure what I made. Now, we quickly sprinkle the chocolate pieces over top of that. Then, you put the sheet tray on top and the residual heat from the caramel is supposed to melt the chocolate. And then once the chocolate's melted, it doesn't say how long, but allegedly once the chocolate's melted enough, we can spread the chocolate. All right, I think they're melted enough. Let's go ahead and spread. Oh yeah. I think this is my first time making candy on the channel. It's also kind of my first time making candy ever. My mom used to make a lot of molded chocolate candies. She had those plastic molds that you could pour chocolate in and then it would solidify. But I haven't really made candy since we did that when I was a kid. Oh, that melted nicely. That's a fun idea, that you don't struggle with melting chocolate on a double boiler. Just throw the chocolate on something hot and it will melt on its own and then you could spread it. You can see that there's some texture from the spreading of the chocolate on the bottoms. So it's I'm not that worried about any pattern in them. Maybe I'll even intentionally kind of swirl a bit. Okay, it says, while hot, cut into 1.5 inch squares, chill until firm. And this is weird for me because I don't want to cut it while it's still, the chocolate's still not set, but then I guess you do want to cut it before the toffee part's set. So I guess I'm just gonna go in with this bench scraper and try to cut down, and then we're gonna just put this whole thing in the fridge until it's chilled. I think that makes the most sense. I don't want to take it out of the container yet, right? The instructions are not clear. All right, so I've cut it into 6 squares of 6, so that's 36 total, and we're just gonna go ahead and put it in the fridge and let it chill, and I'm hopeful that once it's completely chilled, I'll be able to kind of break through the chocolate and break them into squares, whereas it'd be really hard to break through the firm toffee. So that's the plan. Keep them in the pan, chill them. I hope that's what Betty intended. So we'll see these in a few hours. All right, so it's been a half an hour, and that means that it's time to, it's time to take our orange peels out of the water, and the plan is to do it all over again. So we'll put in 6 cups of fresh water, put the oranges back in, and then do it for another half hour. I'm assuming the whole reason we're doing this is to kind of drive out the bitterness. I don't know. I don't know why we're doing this. I can tell they're a little waterlogged, but they are still very firm. So hopefully this next half hour does something to them. I don't know. It's been another 30 minutes, so it's time to finally candy the orange peels. Let's take them out of the water. Ooh. So I'm gonna have to let those cool before I handle them. So let's go ahead and get the sugar syrup started in the same pot. So I'm gonna dump out the water and then we'll put the sugar and the water mixture in. All right, so this sounds kind of insane, but it is a cup of water and 2 cups of sugar. Ooh, that's gonna be a lot of sugar for just a few orange peels, but I'm sure it's accurate, right? Betty couldn't be wrong. So I'm just gonna set this on the heat. What does she say? Heat 2 cups of sugar and 1 cup of water to boiling, stirring until sugar is dissolved. We're just gonna get that going. It's gonna form kind of a simple syrup, I guess. I don't know. All right, can I touch you? You're still hot, but I think I can touch you. It says to gently scrape off the remaining white membrane. Ew! Ew. Ew. Maybe this is why we boiled it. It's both to maybe get rid of the bitterness, which is why we did 2 different batches of water, but then also to get this membrane pliable enough to scrape off, if I had to guess. All right, I'm gonna keep scraping and I'll be right back. All right, so that was more difficult than I thought it would be. I ended up kind of really beating and battering the orange peels, got some little rips. They took a beating, but yeah, it's hard to scrape the membrane out. The peels are delicate, but I think it'll be okay because, you know, we're just gonna have some longer peels, some shorter peels. That's life, right? Now we're gonna cut them into 1/4 inch strips as best we can here. So I know, like that. It's pretty good. I also find it interesting that most of her recipes in this section make like 3 dozen of something, 6 dozen of something. This doesn't feel like it's gonna make that many candied orange peels, right? Probably gonna get like 2 dozen. I'm trying to salvage as many as I can. Now I'm gonna drop these in the boiling sugar water and they're gonna simmer for 45 minutes in the sugar. Can you believe I forgot to wear my hat for that last segment? Sorry. I'm back in the holiday spirit now. So it's finally time to start the Berlinerkranzer cookies. And we will begin by mixing thoroughly the butter. I will say that I am having this recipe because it's gonna make 6 dozen cookies and I only need 3 dozen. So everything is half the original. And I hope I did the math right. Okay. Butter, shortening, 1 cup of sugar. I swear I have the recipe. I think that's a 1/2 cup. I think that's a 1/2 cup, right? I feel like a cup of sugar would have been more than that. Oh no. Okay, we're back in business. A 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of grated orange peel, and 1 egg. Everything's fine. Then we're gonna blend in the flour. So this is 2 cups of flour instead of the 4 it originally called for. Just go slow. Okay, I don't wanna go too far with this because I feel like it'd be easier to mix it by hand at this point. That looks like cookie dough to me. All right, the next step is to roll them out. Shape dough by the rounded teaspoonful. Sure. Into a rope, each 6 inches long. Now remember last year I had trouble with the concept of a 6-inch long rope when I was making the candy cane cookies. But hopefully this year I do better. Okay, that's a 6-inch long rope, kind of, sure. Form each rope into a circle, bringing one end over the other. I hadn't really known what a Berlinerkranzer was, but when I looked it up on Google, a lot of the shapes just looked like that, like a little cross. They didn't do the full twists, which I'm seeing why. Seems difficult. The concept of the knot is not working well for me. Maybe that's why most people don't do it that way. Okay, let's try it again. I wouldn't say a 1/2 inch is on each side. And I guess you don't really need that big of a circle. I mean, it is a wreath, so you want a circle. If you don't want a circle, flop it. Okay, let's try that again. I don't even think that these would stay together in the oven or in the little gift bags I'm gonna make. So I was doing a little history research because I had never heard of a Berlinerkranzer cookie before. And I guess Berlinerkranzer is translated to Berlin wreath. I think that it's because obviously they are wreath shaped, but they seem to have originated in a bakery in Berlin. It's one of the 7 traditional Norwegian cookies that they make at Christmas time. It seems like the tradition around making these buttery cookies comes from the fact that Norway has a lot of these farming communities, and when you're making and selling butter year round, you traditionally probably don't eat it a lot of the year, but Christmas time was a time for celebration, and so they would make these really decadent, delicious cookies with their own butter as part of the Christmas tradition. All right, we have our Berlinerkranzers all made. They look rustic. So now I'm gonna make the like holly berries and leaves out of these candied cherries, which means I'm basically just gonna cut these cherries into like, I don't know, little clumps. Because it really is just like a hunk of something and then 2 other hunks of something. So it's more just kind of the spirit of holly. 24 red cherries, and now I need 48 green leaves. Like, what? This was a cherry? You're telling me this was real fruit? Should I try it? I don't want to. I don't know what that was. It basically just tastes kind of like gelatin or candy, you know? Hard to believe that was ever candy, or hard to believe that was ever real fruit. So we're gonna make like a meringue to brush all these with before we put the candy on. I'm just gonna try to do this like a scrambled egg. I think that's good enough. Now we're gonna paint each Berlinerkranzer with some egg white. We're gonna press the bits in. So there's the holly and then the leaves. Cute. Okay, we just have to keep doing that until they're all done. This is why I don't like making cookies. I find this part so repetitive. I just want it all to be just like done. But that's kind of the spirit of it. So I'm gonna keep decorating and I'll be right back. All right, we have 24 Berlinerkranzers done. They look really cute. They're gonna go into a 400-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes, and we'll check on them when they're out. Okay, our orange peels are finally done. They're candied, they're candied. I hope they're candied at least. I don't know for sure, actually. How does one know? How does one know? But I'm just gonna take them out of the sugar and put them on this little tray to drip dry. You want them to drip off as much of the excess sugar as possible and kind of get a little bit dry and sticky, and then we'll roll them in more sugar. But if we rolled them in sugar right now, the sugar would just melt, right? We have to like kind of get them to more like a tacky consistency. All right, orange peels, done. All right, it's time for the final step for the candied orange peel. They have cooled. They're still very tacky, but no longer hot. So I'm just gonna drop them into this massive amount of sugar and kind of coat them. Cute. And then let me see if I can like roll it more. Yeah, okay. It didn't roll anymore. But still, even if they can't roll, it's fine, I guess. It's so sticky. Oh my God. All right, the final step is to get this toffee out of the container. I think I'm just gonna flop it. Aha! Yeah, this is what I thought would happen. But you could like break it up into little pieces. Yeah, because the chocolate isn't tempered, it really is kind of sticky and getting all over me, but candy dandies. Ah! The final step, of course, is to make our little gifty bags. Ooh, okay. I'm not sure what I want to do. Do you put them all in individual bags? Probably. I don't think they should mix together, you know? So it's like, I'm gonna make one bag that has 2 cookies in it. Cute. Adorable. Tied in a little bow. Then I'll do another bag. This is great ASMR. I'll do another bag that's just the candied orange peel. Get a few of those in there. Tie that with a bow. Cute, cute. Drop a few pieces in there. The toffee's questionable to me. I'm gonna get chocolate on my bow. Done. Gifts from my kitchen. You guys, I made them. They're so cute. All right, it's time to taste. Can't give away gifts if I don't know what they taste like, right? So we'll start with the candied orange peel, which I'm very excited about. They look right. Uh-huh, okay. That is in fact a candied orange peel. Wow. There is still a little bit of bitterness to it, but the sugar helps out with that. Yeah, it's good. It's chewy. It's how I predicted a candied orange peel would taste. I'm into it. Next, I'll try one of the toffee squares. These are really good. Yeah, that toffee caramel flavor with the nuts and the chocolate. I like that it's very solid and stable, but then as soon as you start to chew it, it like falls apart in your mouth because your mouth like melts the sugar and then you get the pieces of nuts. Okay. And finally, the Berlinerkranzers. I did let them maybe bake a little too long. She said that they shouldn't have any browning to them and the bottoms are a little brown, but that's life. This is good. It's definitely like a sugar cookie or a butter cookie. There's a hint of orange. Maybe it's just because I had the orange peel, but I feel like I can taste the orange zest in this. I do think I can taste the burntness a little bit, which on another cookie you probably wouldn't be able to taste, but because this is so light and delicate of flavor, it does kind of overpower it to have a little brown on it. So I get why she said not to let it brown. That's my bad. Next batch, I probably will try to keep it a little underdone. But other than that, it just kind of tastes like a sugar cookie. I don't know. There's a lot of work for something that doesn't even look that good. All right, gifts from your kitchen. This was an awesome idea. I love the cutie little bags. I think that these all turned out pretty well. I will say the Berlinerkranzers were like kind of annoying to make. I just don't have the patience for the amount of detail work that's required. I feel like if you made these every year and got really good at it, they could be beautiful, but it's just like a lot of effort for me. So I might give the Berlinerkranzers 2 out of 5 red spoons, but the Candied Dandies, these were really fun. The Candied Orange Peel was also a lot of work, but it's a lot of hands-off work where it's just like away boiling and it tastes really good and looks really festive. And the toffee was really delicious too. I have to ding it a point because of the stickiness of the chocolate. I get why Betty didn't have us temper the chocolate because that's actually really difficult to do, but I don't know, it just makes them sticky, and that's kind of it's gonna be hard to pack that way, and it's gonna be hard to like eat out of the bag that way. So I'll have to dock it a point for that, but otherwise I might give Candied Dandies 4 out of 5 red spoons. All right, back in the box. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this gifts from your kitchen episode. I think this is a good idea. Like maybe we should all try to give gifts from our kitchen this year for the holidays. Instead of like a material good, you're feeding someone, and isn't that like an amazing gift you can give? And I think, you know, just showing that you put your love and time into something is kind of a gift too. So I hope this gave you some good ideas. Let me know in the comments below if you try any of these, or if you give a different gift from your kitchen, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hope everyone has an amazing holiday season and a happy new year.